Hi, I'm Katie Powers.
I'm Johnny Price.
And you're listening to Adventure Capital, a podcast by Wefunder.
Wefunder is a startup based here in San Francisco that enables other startups to raise capital through equity crowdfunding.
In this podcast, we share the stories of founders who have successfully raised capital through equity crowdfunding on Wefunder. In this episode, we chat with Vanessa Braxton of Black Momma Tea Cafe. She raised $533,000 from 652 investors back in June of 2018. After a 20-year career as a structural engineer, Vanessa started Black Momma Vodka as a way to build and leave a legacy for her children. She built such a solid following of customers and fans online, building the brand up to $2.5 million in sales in 2017, that she decided to launch Black Momma Tea Cafe to engage her customers as investors. We chat with her about being a female founder, a mother, and her exciting journey to opening her first brick-and-mortar cafe in New York later this year.
So, Vanessa, how did you make the transition out of the government contracting work and the construction where you started your career to launching Black Momma Vodka as a brand? That seems like a big jump, a pretty dramatic transition. Can you tell us about how you made that transition?
Absolutely. Actually, it's not a traumatic transition because I'm an engineer first. And I moved to California because my husband got an engineering project and we had relocated to California. And I knew someone who was having an issue with their distillery. And I said, oh, you know what? I'll start my brand because I already knew how to make vodka, how to make spirits, because I used to do some things in college. We'll leave that on the table right there in 1986. But just think about it. To write your formula, you have to be an engineer. Writing formulas, creating beverages, creating all of that, it's not really far-fetched because you take chemistry, you take fluid dynamics, you take all these classes. So you already know how to mix formulas and create your own formula. So I knew at that point, all right, I wanted to do a tequila, but that wasn't working out. But I liked vodka, and I made some bootleg stuff back in college, and I said, I can do this. And I wrote my formula. I got my license, a DSP and my liquor license from TTB, and I got involved with the distillery. And with Black Momma Vodka, I mean, it only made sense. I'm black, I'm the mama, I make the vodka, and that's it. It don't change from there. But also black is positive. My goal is, do you want your money in the black or do you want your money in the red? It's black women, black positive women that have discretionary income to buy anything they want. And that's what was about. So for me, it was just doing the work, and I started Black Momma Vodka out on the West Coast.
And then how did you add the tea component in?
Oh, the tea component. Oh, that was actually by accident. I wanted to compete with, seriously, I wanted to and that's the beauty of when you're your own manufacturer and you're not co-packing and you do your own stuff, yourself, and you have the ability to be hands-on. I was looking to compete with other brands with the flavoring market, like the peach vodka and the other, whipped cream vodka, and it's a formula. I found out that, the peach, you have to go to a lab and they make a chemical peach for you. I literally got the bottle that had a skull and crossbones on it, and it said peach flavoring. I swear, I called the lady back, the scientist, and I said, is this supposed to go into the vodka? She said, yeah, do the calculations. The form is there. That's what your ratios are. She was so brutal, but okay. I did it. You do your calculations, and I put it. It smells like peach. I put a little bit in there, and I said, "Oh no, I can't do." I couldn't even drink it. It was burning my chest. It was just. I thought I was going to die.
Skull and crossbones is a bad sign. Anytime you see the skull and crossbones on a bottle, that's like a beverage. I feel like that is a dangerous starting point.
Yeah, but you know what? People don't see that. And from that moment, I said, if I can't drink it, I can't sell it. So let me see what I can do as infusions. And I always had a soursop tea, and I started doing infusions with that, with the liquor. And then I said, let me see how everything else would work. So that's why my liquor doesn't have any chemicals. It says superior handcrafted vodka infused with tea leaves. So I perfected the formula of infusing them with tea leaves. And that's why I make a chai tea vodka, green tea vodka, soursop tea vodka. It's my formula, my trade secret. And it just bounced off from there.
Got it. So okay, the construction, first bag thing built by a African-American woman with a 1-year-old kid, by the way. Then the vodka. Then you add in...
And a supportive husband. Hold up. And a supportive husband.
Shout out to husbands.
Yes.
Okay. So then the tea business added in on the CPG side. So then where did the idea come from for the retail chain, the Black Momma Tea and Cafe?
A lot of my customers. And it only made sense, you know, and that's how faith works. Sometimes things are put in front of you when you least expect it. Because I already have my own manufacturing facility, I import the teas. You know, I distribute the teas already. So being the importer, manufacturer, distributor, selling to customers, it only makes sense to have the retail. So now that's my blockchain. I close the loop. There's no middleman. Then we can have people invest in the retail side of it and still reach out to having those products. So it always, just like how you have Amazon products, now you got Amazon stores. That's the direction that everybody's moving into. And now if you're able to have a one-stop where you have retail, merchandise, and services, think of it as a seesaw. If you're a business, think about you sitting on a seesaw. If you have products, you want to have services. If you have services, you want to have products to be balanced. What happens if you have products and no services? That seesaw, right, will tilt heavy on one side. So you want to have a balance of both.
How old is the company now? When did you start working on Black Momma?
Well, Black Momma Vodka is 6 years old. That's my privately held company, which I, decided to do that because I wanted to leave a legacy for my children. That was very important for me as a African American woman in the United States. There aren't too many companies that are out there that have a longevity, like the Rockefellers. And I wanted to leave something for my children in terms of the formulas, the distillery, the brand, all of it. The patents, the licenses, the trademark, all of that are tangible assets that you can leave for your children for generations to come, for generational wealth. It's the same thing the Rockefellers did. The Rockefellers, Cornelius, all of it, J.P. Morgan. We as a community need to really get into looking into strategizing on doing that.
I saw a stat recently that African-American median household wealth is 10% that of white median household wealth, and it's going in the wrong direction right now. I saw that 54% of African-American wealth was wiped out in the 2008 foreclosure crisis. And, one of the things that we're excited about at Wefunder is getting more capital to entrepreneurs of color and enabling entrepreneurs like yourself to build wealth through the creation of businesses and growing those businesses, which, as you say, you can then pass to the next generation. So we're really excited to be partnering with you on that. I guess, how big is the business now from a revenue perspective? Black Momma with the vodka and the teas and the other brands, what's the scale that you guys are operating at now? And
$7.5 million a year.
$7.5 million. Wow.
Yeah, we're trying to do a 15 million cap, next year. And but when you think about it, that's my private company, and the private company. Remember, Black Momma Vodka had, at the time before my Wefunder, had 26,000 customers. Now I have like 33,000. I had to find convenient ways and be pivot in different directions on reaching out to customers. Because when you're a small brand, you're competing with bigger brands. So you have to be creative in terms of how do you get out to a customer? Well, we were able to get out to our customers online. We were able to go to trade shows, which were consumer type of trade shows, to sell and for them to do our tasting. We didn't do sponsorships where we would lose money. We sponsored our customers, that became loyal to us. We found ways. We shipped internationally. A lot of people don't look at exporting. I'm the export guru. I shipped to Hong Kong. I was in a Hong Kong trade conference. I ship now to London. I am a licensed liquor with DHL, so I'm able to ship. Now I'm doing something with Amazon where they can hold my product over there. So I found creative ways so I can circumvent the big guys. And from that affinity group of my 26,000 customers, anytime I would come out with a brand, my customers were always the ones coming to me. I had Black Momma. I make a chai tea vodka, green tea vodka. All of those are made from teas. And that's what led me to Black Momma Teas. I had all this leftover tea, so why not just make Black Momma Tea? Mm-hmm. And then my customers started buying Black Momma Teas. And then,
that was, that was what the Wefunder raise was for, right? Was for the tea part of the business.
Yeah, for the Black Momma Teas and cafes. Because you know what? Too often, when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into a company in the very beginning, and you have struggles, and you got to pay for stuff, and you have different failures, and you move into a different direction, and then all of a sudden everything is good. Everybody want to come and invest. Everybody want to invest after you've run through the mud. I always say. Everybody want to sit, but nobody chipped in. So a lot of my customers were saying, I want to invest. I want to invest in the vodka. I want to invest in Black Momma. And I said, well, there isn't anything to invest because I'm debt free. I got my own manufacturing facilities. Where the heck were you 5 years ago when I needed to do all of that and I had to reinvent? And a lot of times, it's nice. But at that point, where this is running on its own, companies want to buy it for 40 million, 100 million. Why would I want to have somebody come in and invest after I've done all the work by myself and with my family, and went through the hard work? So I said, you know what? Thank goodness for the 2016 Jobs Act in Wefunder, because now I can create something where my affinity group of customers would have the opportunity to invest, and we can do this all together. And that way we can circulate the dollars, and then we can back up something for the greater good of everybody being involved in making something bigger than we expect. And that's where Black Momma Teas and Cafes came into effect. I incorporated Black Momma Teas and Cafes 2017 as a new startup, and it's totally for the people. And I utilized the 2016 Jobs Act and Wefunder. You guys are phenomenal, which allowed not just people, but also African Americans.
One thing that's kind of surprising to me, typically the companies that have successful raises like you on Wefunder, they have been in business for a while, they have traction, they have revenue, they have customers. you had that with the vodka and the tea business. You didn't have that for the tea and cafe business. As you've said, you were kind of still planning to open the first location. So How did you persuade, I think did you say 800 investors? How did you persuade those 800 investors to trust this new, pretty risky early stage concept? And how did you execute on the campaign and raise the money?
Well, you know what? I executed through Facebook, but I also utilized my existing customer base who was already familiar with Black Momma, especially those people who were already asking, I want to invest in something with you. But they knew they couldn't invest in the vodka because it was already there, or my manufacturing facility. So for me, I was able to send the Wefunder campaign to them. Of course, we made sure that there was the right disclaimer at the bottom, according to the SEC rules, and for them to read everything through Wefunder, check out, go to the SEC, look it up, and then you do your due diligence, regardless of the fact of you already knowing the brand. You know what I mean? Through another outlet. This is new. It's all there. And if this is something that you would want to do, then you do it. If it's not, then it's fine. But from sending it to my core customer base and on Facebook from my followers, I don't even think I went on Instagram. And then I was also in other groups that I had mentored people in the past. People knew me from, doing government speaking engagements. They immediately, literally just jumped on because they already knew my brand. And then those people brought in other people. And, people want their own Black Momma Tea and Cafe without even having this first one built. Their line is out the freaking door. I mean, that's amazing because of the type of products that we have.
Largely a testament to you, the fact that they followed you from Black Momma Black Momma Vodka to Black Momma Tea and Cafe, and just had such a trust in you. I'm curious if you've ever faced any struggles raising capital as a woman or as a woman of color, because we've heard from many female founders and female founders of color how many doors they get shut in their face from traditional sources of capital like VCs or other institutional investors.
I'm going to be honest with you. With Black Momma Tea and Cafe, I haven't even touched VCs because of the beautiful Jobs Act and Wefunder and the job that you guys did with creating that platform. Black Momma Teas and Cafes just came out of the affinity of what my customers were asking for. I had no intentions of doing that. I was staying in my own lane, but it was just so many people that were asking. And when you guys came up with this, I said, I don't have to go to VCs. It can all work with everybody coming in together, almost like group economics. So why go to a VC when you have the people? Because the VC is going to always make money. I'm not trying to give up a board seat or give up control. So for me, I did not go to VCs or angel investors. They can get on board once my people who the initial investors are taken care of first. They can come in and pay higher to make sure the people who are in getting their dibs first.
Yeah.
But, you change the dynamic structure because everybody wants a VC. But when you go to a VC, you have a lot of different commitments. A VC, a lot of times, and I'm not speaking bad on a VC, but they're in it for the money. I mean, I've done, private equity myself. I care about my money. But are they going to be truly invested in your company with labor, wanting to help, wanting to push this to the next level, wanting to buy a franchise, are VCs going to do that? No. They want to know what the exit strategy is, the dividend or liquidity. But you know what? And then not only that, I don't think you guys realize when you as a VC, because the laws change you now qualify, you invest in a company that goes public, you get a small business qualified stock. It's the IRS 1202, code. If you hold the stock for 5 years, this is after it lists, it's federally tax-free. Now, regular people can take advantage of that. Please talk to your accountant, but look it up. VCs have been doing this. Why? We have the opportunity to change people's finances, create wealth, and people to get in on the ground floor of something good that they can benefit from.
I love that. And I think that's why a big part of why we all work at Wefunder is what you've just been talking about, both founders, enabling founders to raise capital from unaccredited investors, as well as institutional investors, customers that believe in their business, but then also enabling ordinary people. Anyone can go to Las Vegas and drop $1,000 on a spin of the roulette wheel.
Easy.
And what the Jobs Act did is enable those same people to now invest that same $1,000 in a business that's opening up a storefront in their location, in a founder that they believe in. So that's what we're all doing here at Wefunder, and we're proud to be partnering with you and bringing Black Momma Tea and Cafe to life. Maybe we could end with a couple of quick pieces of advice from you, Vanessa. Firstly, you've just run one Wefunder campaign. You mentioned another one in the works. Do you have advice for an entrepreneur that's running a campaign on how to make it as successful as possible? And then secondly, maybe a little bit more broadly, advice for an entrepreneur more broadly who's just starting out or just opening their first location or looking to expand, for an entrepreneur more broadly.
Yes. People always ask me for advice, and I'm going to be completely honest. For an entrepreneur that wants a successful campaign or just any successful of just raising funds altogether, please make sure you have an accountant, a lawyer, and some credit, and insurance. That's the key. That kind of creates a bond for you in a success in any type of movement as far as your advisors are concerned. And then your customers, constantly reach out. Set up your investor relations to constantly reach out to the people who are investing in you. Give them something that they can feel special about. We have our VIP cards, we have our discounts, but, bring something to the table. It doesn't have to be a lot, but people want to feel appreciated, even if it's just a thank you. Mm-hmm. That way it doesn't feel like you're taking their money and running,
So true.
And so that way they appreciate. Everybody got a Black Momma VIP card, and they get a 15% discount, and they got got it mailed to them, and they even got like a nice perk package. I'm gonna tell you this: when you're dealing with private equity hedge fund managers, and you drop $75K. You're not getting a perk. You're not even getting a phone call. So take the time to call those people or email them and say thank you or give them an appreciation. They really, really, really love that. And when you do that with them, they tend to come back and invest more, and they share their experience with other customers, with other people. So, and those people
love that
in your brand.
And what about the broader advice for entrepreneurs, in starting or growing their business?
Entrepreneurs, listen, I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. It's a big and small thing. But same thing on the broader level, I always say, get an attorney, accountant, and insurance. Before
so
you
your
even
advice
do
on the raise, your advice on the Wefunder raise is get an attorney and an accountant. And your general business advice is also get an attorney. I like it.
You know
advice.
why? Because those people are the people that can, before you even get a logo, those individuals can put you in the right direction. Even before you get on a Wefunder, you need an accountant, you need an attorney, you need all of that So that way you're structured the right way. And that once you have that, it'll take you into a direction of uphill. You won't be fighting to go uphill. It'll be a smooth ride uphill because you have those advisors. I stress that so much. I got like 9 lawyers, but they're all for different things. But, you know, without that type of team of advisors, I wouldn't have been able to get on Wefunder or to even look into, you know, the Jobs Act and even to do what I do, because it helps me stay on the straight and narrow, especially when I want to expand exponentially. You need that. And you need to focus and have time. One of the guys, Paul Dorfin from the New York Stock Exchange, told me last year, he said, Vanessa, I know you're coming, but take your time, because time is valuable with a company. Why do you think Lyft and all these other companies took so long before they list? Because they were able to take their time to build strategically. Everybody wants to rush to make money tomorrow. You're not going to do that. You have to take your time and strategize. And if you have your investors and your community behind you, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
I just dropped the mic, y'all.
Out of your community of investors, you have 800 plus investors. Do you have a favorite story of like the best connection you've made or the best interaction you've had with one of your investors?
Yes. Lamar Wilson. I didn't know Lamar. Someone in one of my investors said, "Oh, you need to go on a live with Lamar Wilson because he's from FinTech." And I said, "I have no time to do that." And I said, "All right." He said, "No, that way he has a following and people will know." And I said, "Okay." I think Lamar said 11 o'clock at night, how about we do this tomorrow? I was like, okay. I did a live on Facebook with him right in my facility, you know, dressed in my sweatpants, hair braided. I'm in my facility, you know, at 11 o'clock in the morning. It was such a beautiful live and conversation, everything about Black Momma Teas and Cafes, that the people in his group just poured in and invested $186,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was constant.
That's amazing.
And those same people are the same people who became new customers. They share it. They buy the teas. They share the information. Now they want franchising. Now we all have groups. Some of the people in that group have products of their own, like the little girl who has a lemonade. She invested with her parents, but she has her own Be Chill lemonade. She's going to be a vendor in Black Momma Tea and Cafe with her lemonade. And she's 9. So doing that, I'm able to include people who also invested to be vendors if they have a product. And that was one of the best experience that that benefited is through Lamar Wilson and his Coinder group, and we've had a good relationship with them. I do a live for them and I explain to people how to, I do like free advice to them in a pre-IPO group, or when I'm going to a family office meeting, I'll share the worksheets with them, in my pre-IPO group, what I got. So that way they can see what's going on. So they're all learning something from me just as well, and they were doing it as a community. And then they get to stay on the updates.
Well, I think that's a really cool example of how, you connect with Lamar, he shares it with his community, they come in and invest in you. Then one of those investors is now going to be selling it at Black Momma Tea and Cafe, selling her lemonade. I think that's a beautiful example to end on of just how, this community is coming together, connections are being made through Wefunder, and sure, that's helping you raise capital for the business, but it's also seems to be just kind of benefiting you and investors and other entrepreneurs in a myriad of ways. So I feel like that's a great note to end on.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are doing, I got to say, thank goodness for Wefunder. I talk about you guys all the time, and I say, people are sleeping. You can go right to Wefunder and get this done, to get a lawyer, accountant, and some insurance.
Well, thank you, Vanessa. We'll send a check in the mail. Thanks for saying that.
Thank you. Thank you. No,
and I'm not forgetting about that invite to the grand opening party. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be sending you guys an invite.
Adventure Capital is brought to you by your fundraising team here at Wefunder, which consists of Johnny Price, Katie Powers, and myself, Oliver Foyahan. We'll be sharing the adventures of one of our Wefunder founders every other week. If you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, or would just like to find out more about Wefunder or our founders, don't hesitate to contact us at hello@wefunder.com. We'll see you next time.